Alright guys, we're back with some more speculation of what the theme of this year's Tanabata celebration could be, and I've seen this float around the timeline in the last 24 hours, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm on board for it, and it does actually make a lot of sense, and that is that the theme is ROF, that we could be seeing an LR
Golden Frieza.
Now, as I've mentioned before, Dokkan usually do very on-the-nose hints, and the straight correlation you can see straight away is this is a golden medal. I've seen a few people say pendulum. While it does look similar, while I do think the theory and the idea of Namek and the countdown is a really sick idea, this is definitely a medal. You know, you have the wreath on the bottom, which is usually associated with gold medals, champions, etc, etc. I've seen a few people look into these parts. I don't think that has anything to do with it because these lines kind of engraved into the medal are all literally the exact same. And then we have the little hoop that usually the sash that will go around your neck when you put on a medal loops through. So it definitely is a medal. I think all of us, or the majority of us, are in the same consensus that that is a medal, not a pendulum. And the direct correlation that I'm talking about is the fact that this is a gold medal. Golden Frieza. The idea that when he went Golden Frieza for the first time, all he did was train for 4 months, and Frieza was always known until Goku went Super Saiyan and completely obliterated his ass, the fact that he was the strongest. He was the most strongest person in the whole of the universe, and that is like a big direct correlation. Now, the only other thing I will say is we do have some very strange and odd star patterns up here, which I've seen people point out. Not entirely sure what those could mean, because they do look like they're here for a reason. They do look like they're kind of dotted the way they are and look so standout-ish for a reason. They don't look like they're just there for decoration. But we go back to the medal, as I said, champion, first place, gold, Golden Frieza. Golden Frieza, or Frieza himself, was the strongest at one point or another. And another reason why I'd be completely on board with an RF theme for Tanabata is the fact that we could get a ton of content. Not only could we have another amazing, hopefully looking and performance-wise extreme type unit in the game, with Golden Frieza being the LR Dokkan Fest, but then we could see EZAs for the AGL LR Golden Frieza, probably one of the best yellow coin LRs we've ever gotten in Dokkan. He released in 2023, so I know this is kind of a little bit early, but it's never out of the realm of possibility that Dokkan could do EZAs a tad bit early. You know, it's only a year early. And if we did go down the ROF route, this one honestly does make the most sense. I know they wouldn't link, but it could be one of those scenarios where one goes in slot 1, one goes in slot 3, and having this guy back with the amount of damage reduction, I know he does lose it, but making him or revamping him into a 2025 version, even if he does lose out on a good amount of damage reduction, could be a big help on some of the big enemy bosses we're facing nowadays, doing anywhere from like 4, 5, 6, 7.5 to 10 million. So even if that isn't permanent, having him come back into the meta would be a great addition to not only the new Golden Frieza's team, even though they don't link, but we've easily seen Dokkan work around that before. Then also be a great EZA, be a great counter to these hard-hitting enemies. Not to mention as well, would be a great addition to also super bosses with the brand new Golden Frieza, specifically being a super Golden Frieza at that. Dokkan always does little tinkering. I know this one isn't technically from Super because ROF is a Z movie, but then we could say he's from the anime, which is a super arc. So that Golden Frieza could be a part of super bosses. If not, it's not necessarily a problem. I'm not overly bothered if that doesn't happen. It would be a great addition though if that was the case. The next units we could see EZAs, major EZAs. Should have definitely started off by putting Blue, which I'm going to do, or Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. And I think just by saying that, you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about. And that is the ROF Blues. A unit that was okay upon release, weren't the best, but they come out in 2022, late 2022. So I know, again, this EZA would be a tad bit early, but we're kind of running out of EZAs within that 3-year time span anyway, especially with some of these major celebrations. And again, it's not outside the realm of possibility. Dokkan kind of speed some of the Easy A's up a little bit, and of course they will fit the ROF theme perfectly. Especially again, we're kind of getting close to that 3-year window, not quite there, but very close to being towards it. And again, they fit the theme, and an Easy A would do this unit a world of good. As I said, was kind of okay, not so much, really needed dupes when they drop. Bringing these back would be great, you know, especially because we do already have a Super Saiyan God Goku, a Super Saiyan Blue Goku that exchanges into Vegeta. So I'm pretty sure both these guys would link with each other. Yes, they would. They would link with each other. And that's literally a more recent GDC unit. They will share categories. You could then make these a lot better than they were. You know, increase the stack, make it higher, give defense as well, or add defense for the turn, you know, etc. Things like that. There is a lot of things they could actually do with this unit because it's quite bare bones. Even for a 2022 unit, this Goku side of things really isn't doing too much apart from stack. Even Vegeta, very based around orbs, not really doing a whole lot apart from building up crit and getting stats. We could actually do a lot with this unit, and I said will work well with a brand new GDC unit or a newish GDC unit. A lot of units in the game it can work well with, you know, Vegeta and Trunks, as I said, the GDC, Goku and Vegeta, etc, etc. I think this would work really well. Again, also very fitting with the theme. And I would love to see them Easy A because they didn't last too long in the limelight when they initially released anyway. So it would be good to see them make a comeback and hopefully be a very good Easy A and kind of share the spotlight with a new LR Golden Frieza as well, and just make them a lot more usable than they were when they first released. And the final major possible Easy A for an ROF theme, even though not from Resurrection of F, could be also, just like the LR Dokkan vest, an Easy A for the Dragon Ball Super transforming Golden Frieza from the TOP arc. A unit that is definitely, compared to the other two, well overdue in Easy A. 2021, a unit that is actually just over 4 years old, so the milk has turned in the fridge. It's time to give him an Easy A. It's time to give him another go. It's time to bring him back again. Since we're going all the way back to 2021, very bare bones passive, already built in dodge, could give him some more base dodge, so after receiving an attack could have a ton like 80, 90, maybe guaranteed dodge, something like that. You know, stacks defense, we can increase that, can leave it the same, give him some additionals. I've gone through this before as a possible Easy A. Cannot remember for the life of me why I said we could do there, but just based on what we've got here, you could definitely add a lot. Make him a support for, say, super bosses, maybe a new category that a Golden Frieza could lead, maybe for Terrifying Conquerors, maybe for Space Traveling Warriors, maybe for whatever categories does he go on. Gifted Warriors, Reps. Maybe not so much Reps in Universe Survival Saga because it's also got a buff, the Golden Frieza from ROF, and he wasn't quite there yet. So I don't know, maybe Time Limit, maybe Gifted Warriors, Successors, Sworn Enemies. Maybe something like that to help out, really round out the category. And the best part about it is because he's transforming Golden Frieza, he will link with the new one. So seeing this guy come back, as I said, we have quite a bit of content that could be added for an RF theme for Tanabata this year. And then when he transforms into Golden, he then starts doing big damage on attack, which already that by itself is great. Maybe we could see the new gimmick that's added to SAFX where you have like a 50-70% chance to then further massive arrears attack, something like that. Definitely some defense for the turn as well. Here we have 50% damage reduction and 49% HP or less. Give him some base damage reduction, maybe guard to go with it to really beef him up again, so he works really well with the new one. He could go in slot 1, the new one can go in slot 2, or vice versa, depending on who's built for what. I think it would work out really well. And then if you also give the LR AGL Golden Frieza an Easy A, that entire rotation could link together. You have the new one in slot 1, this one in slot 2, the other Easy A in slot 3, throw in some support. It could be an amazing rotation of literally just Golden Frieza. Gold everywhere. 9-carat Golden Friezas. Okay, we are iced out in this bitch. So yeah, as I said, ROF would work really, really well. because that is 3 major EZAs that are in desperate need, especially this guy all the way back in 2021. And that is why, alongside the Tournament of Power and potentially seeing that being the theme of Tanabata and maybe a new UI Goku, especially one that could revive from an SSB in to UI, which we've been wanting in Dokkan for years, is probably up there as one of my most wanted and probably my most go-to for Tanabata this year. It's either going to be TOP and some form of UI, I reckon, maybe Jiren, or I reckon it's going to be ROF or Golden Frieza. I do think ROF makes a lot of sense, maybe even more so than UI, just because of the amount we can get with it. Again, it's very on the nose with the clue, golden medal, Golden Frieza, literally. And then not only that, Frieza at one point was the strongest, #1, you get a gold medal for being in first place. But then TOP does seem likely as well because you win a gold medal for winning a tournament, etc, etc. But I would actually prefer ROF just because there's so much they could do content-wise, especially EZAs. Not saying they can't with TOP, but a lot more is needed and can be done with ROF in comparison to TOP. So I think it would be the best bet to go for. And we could also continue that great run we've been on with amazing extreme class units like Rose and Omega, and Golden Frieza could be a great addition to that, especially if they specifically add him or make him a anime Golden Frieza. That way ROF counts as a super boss, and we can add Golden Frieza to the super boss category, which of course Rose does 220 lead, so we could go on a category with those. Unfortunately, the EZA wouldn't be on there, and I do think it's highly unlikely. I'm kind of reaching for that, but even if they don't decide to do that, it would still be a great addition anyway, especially if his lead was very, very good at that. And as I said, there's some great EZAs like AGL LR Golden Frieza, Transforming Fizz Golden Frieza, and of course the Int RF Blues, who were just okay and never that good to begin with, even when they were released. But at the end of the day, it's all speculation. Take it with a pinch of salt. Let me know your theories down in the comments. Would you like to see Golden Frieza and an ROF theme for Tanabata this year? Let me know. But I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care, have a great day, and peace.